My name is Sully, better known as Pius. I can help with surahs so I can recite.
My name is Suhaila, memorizing surahs, reading the Quran, and practicing the Sunnah.
My name is Mommy, better known as Umi. Islamic education is key to the family. We tune in every day to learn something new, and soon the followers is helping us, and it could help you too. Tune in every day for new programming. Stay tuned.
And much more.
Assalamu alaikum. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. My Lord, get wet. Get wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. Getting ready for our conversation, deep and in depth. Obligations are serious and need to be met. So I prepare so I won't forget. Go ahead and make a good intention. Yeah, yeah. You can wrap up some good things. Yeah, make a donation to the side and go from left to make it right. Just remember and don't lose sight. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this. All right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister Laila Nasheeba, the Managing Director and Founder of Sunnah Followers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
In a world full of distractions, finding authentic knowledge is more important than ever. Sunnah Followers Online University, formed in 1986, provides dedicated teachers and scholars, offering classes in Aqidah, Fiqh, and Tawheed, all strictly according to the Quran and Sunnah. To keep these programs running and accessible to everyone for free, we need your support, whether it's $10 or $1,000. Your donation keeps the light of knowledge burning. Please donate at sunnahfollowers.net. Assalamu, bye!
Oh, okay. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Maqasidic Tafsir class. And this is the class based on the book written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid entitled The Maqasidic Tafsir Volume 3. And we're continuing with Surah Al Araf. Surah Al Araf, which speaks about the wall that the people whose deeds come out even will stand at on the day of judgment. And we're in part 3 of this chapter that is speaking about how on the day, well, this part 3 of the chapter is speaking about what happened to the people who came before us. We talked about how Allah used to destroy a whole nation of people after sending messengers to convey the truth. If people did not accept Allah's message, if he did not accept the message of Allah, if the people did not accept the message of Allah, if they refused to adhere to the messengers that Allah sent, then he would just destroy the whole people. But now Allah, after that, Allah stopped doing that. Now he doesn't do that. Instead, what he does is he takes caliphate or leadership. He will punish the people individually and remove leadership from them on earth for breaking the covenant with him. And that's what we see happening with us as a nation today. Allah is punishing us individually for the wrongs that we are committing against ourselves, against each other, and against Allah and his deen. And he has removed leadership from us collectively. But tonight, we're going to speak about what happened to the people before Allah made this promise to us. He made this promise after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But last time we met, we spoke about what happened with the people of Noah. Tonight we're going to speak about, and we talked about the people of Ad and Thamud. And tonight we're going to speak about two more groups of people whom Allah destroyed, as a lesson. And Allah tells us what happened to these past people so that we can learn to not make the mistakes that they made, and in hopes we can become better than they. But as we see today, we've fallen into the same holes and traps that they fell into. We've fallen into the traps that Iblis laid for them. We've fallen into those same traps that he's laid for us, because man seems like he will never learn. We're making the same mistakes today that these people made before us. So let's get to it. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And I'm going to start off with a simple quiz, just 2 questions that I'm going to ask you guys. And I hope that the people in my Zoom room, I know that the other people will be able to answer. I'm just hoping that the people in my Zoom room who are kind of slow, I'm hoping that the slow people in my Zoom room will be able to answer the 2 questions that what is this? Oh, wrong PowerPoint. Well, for those of you who missed the earlier class, you get to see the past PowerPoint. Yeah. Let me get the right one. That shows I didn't reboot that computer, did I? Here it is. Let's put the right one up. Okay, here we go. So we're going to speak about the people of Lot and the people of Shuaib, alayhi salam. May Allah be pleased with them both. These were 2 prophets that came before the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay, let me move this out the way so I can see. We're going to cover verses 80 through 93 of Surah Al Araf. Surah Al Araf, verses 80 through 93 tonight. And before we get into those verses, 2 questions. Last week we spoke about what happened with the people of Ad and the people of Thamud, and I put out shorts about the 2 peoples. Which of these people did Allah send a miraculous camel to? Who can remember? Of the Ad and the Thamud people, which one did Allah send a miraculous camel to? Who can remember? People in my Zoom room, wake up. Told you they slow. Just say y'all don't know if you don't know, so I can take the answers from off the screen here. Y'all don't know in my Zoom room? Okay, let me take the answers here. Which of the people did Allah send a miraculous camel to?
But the mud people.
Okay, good.
Give me a chance to get to the computer.
Okay, good job, Sister Maylee Yune. And also, Sanisa, good job. The Thamud people. The Thamud people. These were Sister Maylee Yune type and Sister Sakina. They were Prophet Saleh's people. Saleh's people. Good job. The Thamud. The Thamud were the ones whom Allah sent a miraculous camel to. Good job. Let's look at the next question. And which of the people was Prophet Hud sent to? Was it the Ad or the Thamud?
The Ad.
Good job, Anissa. Good job, Sister Mikos. Exactly. It was the Ad people. Yes, the Ad people. They were the original Arabs, and so were the Thamud. And they're now known in history as the perished Arabs because Allah destroyed them, wiped them out. So if there's any Arabs claiming to be from their descendants, they're a liar. Allah destroyed them, wiped them out. Allah blessed the Ad people with beautiful physiques. They had beautiful bodies. They were strong. They were able to build houses and homes in the mountains and stuff. And they showed their gratitude towards Allah by rebelling against him. They were so arrogant. Instead of them showing gratitude towards Allah for blessing them with the beautiful physiques and intelligence that he blessed them with, they rebelled and felt themselves equal to him. He destroyed them. And then the people of Thamud did the same thing. You know, blessed them with physical beauty, and they were able to carve homes into the mountains. You still see their ruins today. And how did they thank Allah? By rebelling against him too. So Allah diminished, wiped them out, and left their ruins behind to this day. You can pass through and see their ruins today. All right. Well, today we're going to speak about another group of people who Allah sent a prophet to. Their ruins exist too, and here's some of their ruins. And we're going to speak about them, the fate. We're going to speak about the fate of the morally indifferent, the people of Prophet Lot, alayhi salam. The story of Lot, alayhi salam, and his confrontation with his people depicts the clash between prophetic guidance and societal decadence. Always a battle between religion and society. And this will be covered in verses, this story is covered in verses 80 to 84 of Surah Al Araf. In these verses, the verses delineate not only the moral depravity that Prophet Lot alayhi salam challenged, but also the clear demarcation between those who heeded Allah's guidance and those who stood against it. And significantly, these verses also touch upon the subtle yet deep theme of indifference as it embodies Lot's wife. And this is what's painful. His wife, who chose to go against her husband, just like we see a lot of today, a lot of women who betrayed their husbands. This illustrates the consequences of passivity in the face of clear moral choices. So the story of Lot alayhi salam is a story that resonates deep even in today's world. So it starts off just like all the other stories of the prophets, alayhi salam, do, with the call to Tawheed, which ends up leading to conflict. And so verses 80 and 81 speak about this. Let's take a look at it. Prophet Lot, alayhi salam, his admonition to his people over their unprecedented sins placed him in direct conflict with the prevailing norms of his society. As you guys know, his society was different than the society of Noah's, than the society of the Ad and the Thamud. His society was a society in which the men lay with the men. Now that was weird for that time. Instead of the men taking women as their mates, they chose to take other men as their mates. Some even took animals, bestiality. So Prophet Lot, alayhi salam, tried to call the men away from this. But his call of their unnatural desires and transgressions underscored the tension between Allah's law and humans' defiance. The people responded to him by trying to expel him and those with him for trying to purify them. They tried to kick him out of society, to run him away, as we spoke about in our previous classes. This is what we talked about in Surah Al Isra. You know, the first thing that the unbelievers will do is try to, after ridiculing you and seeing that they can't get to you that way, when they try to provoke you, if they can't provoke you through ridicule, they'll try to run you away, you know. And that's what his people tried to do to him. The division was simply and sharply defined, because Prophet Lot represented adherence to Allah's commandments, whereas his people represented resistance to that and transgression against what's good and clean. And the sad reality was that Lot's wife, she symbolized the third, often overlooked group, those who through their indifference or tacit support of wrongdoing align themselves with the transgressors. And we have people like that today. And those are the worst. Those are the worst. They'll hang around you, the person that's trying to do what's right and good. But in reality, they're with the wrongdoers. We have to deal with that today as a daya. Those are the worst people that I have to contend with. They'll come to my Zoom room. They'll sit in on the sidelines. They'll never say nothing. They're the silent ones. They sit in the Zoom room to try to make me think that they're supporting me, that they're with me. But you notice they never have anything to say. Whenever we're dealing with a problem, whenever we're dealing with an issue as a website, they're here, but they never, ever join in to try to help the problem. Then they'll disappear. And you don't know where they are, but I know where they are. They're sleeping with the enemy, as I call it. They're hanging out with the enemy's group, talking talk, taking back information. They're laying with the enemies, telling the enemies what we're plotting, what we're planning, what's Layla's doing, how she's reacting, what's going on in the Zoom room. They're taking that information back. Then they'll come back in the Zoom room, sit in the corner. They never talk. They never get on the mic. They never say anything, but they got everyone else thinking that they're with us. They're with us. They're with the Bantus. They're with us. And they do that. And then when something happens, when everybody snaps, they'll pop up. That's when they take the mic. When they think that the other people are snapping at Layla, that's when they get on the mic and they snap too. They snap at Layla. Oh, I'm gonna jump in now. Well, those are the worst group of people. They are known as the indifferent or the tacit. That's how Lot's wife was, okay? They align themselves with the transgressors, but they make you think. But see, I know just like Lot knew, but the other people who support me don't know, just like the other people who supported Lot didn't know. These people have always been around. The prophets had to deal with them. Our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to deal with them. We are the inheritors of the prophets. We have to deal with the indifferent all the time too. It comes with the territory. So Lot's wife is named explicitly, highlighting the peril of indifference in moral conflicts here in this verse, these verses. So we move on to verse 83 to 84. These verses speak of Allah's justice, how he always brings justice for and against the indifferent. Just like I see it, I always see it. The MySpace women, they got their justice. It always happens. Allah always sends his justice to the indifferent. Well, he does it here. Allah's retribution, the retribution that befell Lot's people through a rain of stones, is a powerful demonstration of the consequences of flouting divine commandments. Notably, the salvation of Lot and his family, except for his wife, demonstrates that passive or indifference to immorality aligns one of the perpetrators rather than the righteous. I want you guys to pay attention to this picture that I put here on the screen. This is a picture that people today say is Lot's wife. Seriously. I take this picture off the internet every time I talk about the people of Lot. This is right there where they say the Sodom was. This, they say, is an outline of how those Allah rained down his justice, and that whole area is salt where nothing grows to this day. Everybody calls this the statue of the pillar of Lot's wife, because look at it. It's in the shape of a woman, and they all say that that's Lot's wife. You know, Allah knows best. But that stone has been there. That pillar of salt has been there for centuries. And they all, the Christians and them all say that that's the salt pillar of Lot, his wife, turning back away from her husband to look back at her people. I put this picture here so y'all can see it. So anyway, this distinction reiterates the importance of active faith and moral conviction in the face of society's wrongdoing. It underscores that in the dichotomy of Allah's truth versus human transgression, there is no neutral ground. Either you are going to stand for the truth or stand against it. Indifference, if you're going to be indifferent, you can't straddle the fence. If you're going to be indifferent like Lot's wife was, you're going to end up falling with the people who are transgressors like she did. And they say that that's her. That's the pillar of salt that Allah turned her into. And she's been standing there looking back at her people since that day. So, and I always sit back and see, how the indifferent end up getting their injustice because they stand there thinking that they're fooling people. They're not fooling anybody but themselves. Okay. So that's the lesson with Lot's people and his wife. And then we move on to the next verses of Surah Al Araf, which address another prophet, alayhi salam, and the destruction of his people. And this is the prophet of Shuaib, who was in Madian. This is a lesson of faith, deception, and Allah's verdict. The story of Prophet Shuaib, alayhi salam, and the people of Madian unfolds a complex story of Allah's mission of righteousness. And also it shows how deceitful humans can be and how eventually Allah has the final say. And this story is told in verses 85 through 93 of Surah Al Araf. And it lays bare the dynamics of faith, society's opposition against it, and the subtle delineation among those who adhere to faith and the dissenters and the ambivalent within the community. And let's take a look at it. And as with all the prophets, it begins with the call to Tawheed and the conflict that the Prophet alayhi salam will endure. Prophet Shuaib alayhi salam, his message to the people of Madian emphasized, like the others, the worship of Allah as the sole deity, and also the principles of justice, fair dealing, and the avoidance of mischief on earth. His appeal to abandon deceitful practices and to adhere to moral uprightness was met with resistance, threats, and allegations, which portrayed that his society, like the others, was deeply entrenched in corruption and opposition to Allah's guidance. The talk between Shuaib and his followers and his opponents highlighted the existence of distinct factions within the Madian society. You had believers who did embrace his principles. Then you had the outspoken unbelievers who challenged it. And then you had a potentially indecisive group who were swayed by society. Although not explicitly mentioned, the latter group is reflected in the broader community's response to Shuaib's ultimatum. Their silence speaks volumes about their passive acceptance of the status quo or their silent rejection of Allah's guidance. Verses 91 through 93 speak about how Allah ended up sending his justice to them with a decisive act of justice. This marked the climax of Shuaib's story. Allah sent an earthquake that annihilated those who denied his message. and his warnings. But Allah spared Shuaib alayhi salam and those who followed him. This divine intervention is a reminder of the consequences that befall a community when it disregards Allah's warnings and the prophetic warnings and persist in their own transgressions. The story of Shuaib and the Madian focuses on the clash between belief and disbelief, but it also addresses the peril of indecision and passivity in the face of moral dilemmas. The community's failure to decisively support Shuaib's call for justice and righteousness indirectly contributed to their downfall, showing how indifference or neutrality in regards to Allah's commandments can be tantamount to opposition. And again, that's what we're faced with today. Those people who refuse to speak out. You see how people have given in to society like we see today. A lot of Muslims have become secular. You know that we're not supposed to be voting in elections. You know that we're not supposed to be participating in politics, running for offices and things like that. You know it's wrong. But instead of you speaking out against it, you're remaining silent. And as a result, you're part of the guilty. You're making the case, the situation worse. Well, that's what these people did. And so Allah sent that earthquake to destroy them. He only allowed to survive those who were with Shuaib, who did speak out against the evil. So we see here that faith, deception, and Allah's verdict encapsulates the struggle between the truth and human misconduct. It highlights the importance of being strong in your faith and also speaking out against the evil that you see that's around you. Through the lens of Shuaib's message, the narrative offers timeless lessons on the necessity of having moral integrity. You also see the pitfalls of passivity and the supreme authority of Allah's judgment when it comes to arbitrating truth and falsehood. It's not good, guys, to remain silent. You see wrongdoing happening and you're doing nothing. As Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him, said in an authentic hadith, you don't want to become a zombie. You have to do something. If you can't change it with your hands, then change it with your tongue. If not with your tongue, do something, at least with your heart. You just don't become a walking zombie where you do nothing at all. Like the people of Shuaib have become just zombies. So great lessons for us to learn. As you can see, Allah has brought this war to us like he's promised. He's not going to destroy a people by annihilating them anymore. He's just going to punish us individually for the sins we commit and punish us collectively by taking caliphate away. That's why we don't have Beit el-Maqdi. That's why no one's praying in Masjid al-Aqsa. We don't deserve Beit el-Maqdi, which is Jerusalem. You don't deserve to pray in Masjid al-Aqsa. You're lucky to be praying in Mecca and Medina, to be honest. All right. Are there any questions or comments? That's our class for today. Thursday, we'll pick up with the next chapter. Any questions or comments? No, Brother Amir. Brother Amir asked a good question. He said, will Allah ever take Mecca or Medina? No. Mecca and Medina will always be what it is until Jesus comes. When Jesus comes, Mecca, the caliphate will be established in Jerusalem. Okay. And then Mecca and Medina will become uninhabited. Then people will be complaining about that. You'll have the weak Muslims complaining because of that, because no one will live in Mecca or Medina. But the reason why no one will live in Mecca and Medina is because everyone will move to Jerusalem to be near Jesus, because Jesus will be the ruler and the caliphate of the world. He'll be the caliphate of the world. Mecca and Medina will become uninhabited. Only animals will live there. Yeah, the people that live there will move to Jerusalem because that's where Jesus will be. But the Hajj, people will continue to make Hajj though. Yeah, people will continue to make Hajj. But as far as living there, those two cities will become uninhabited, not because anybody takes it over, but because the people will choose to live in Jerusalem, because that will be the head of Khalifa. That's where Jesus will be. Wouldn't you want to be near him? Mm-hmm. So it won't be nobody living there, but the people will still perform Hajj. Yeah. Yeah, the Hajj will still be to Mecca. The Kaaba will not be destroyed until, after Jesus is right before Jesus dies. Yeah. The Kaaba will be destroyed, but not until right before Jesus dies. Yeah. Nothing in this world is going to last forever. Everything here is going to eventually be destroyed. But those type of things you shouldn't worry about. Like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions when he saw them running around worrying about the last hour. Those are all signs of the last hour. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent one day from Fajr until the next day talking about all the signs of the last hour. And then he kind of regretted it, because after he did that, the next day, the companions were running around scared, looking for the signs of the last hour. They even thought this young boy was the Antichrist. So the prophet said, you guys are running around scared, looking for the signs of the last hour. He said, don't worry about that. He said, because the last hour will come to each and every one of us when the angel of death comes to take your soul. So the question is, what have you done to prepare for that? Don't worry about that stuff. Worry about death. We're a long, long way from Jesus, the Mahdi. Don't worry about the Jesus and the Mahdi and when will Mecca be destroyed. Don't worry about that stuff. Worry about the last hour coming to you. As the prophet told the companions, worry about the last hour coming when the angel of death pays you that visit. And ask yourself, are you prepared for that? And when he told the companions that, they stopped worrying. They started making sure that they had their deeds together for the last hour of death. That's what we need to concern ourselves with. Forget about all that other stuff. This signs of the last hour stuff is not important. Mahdi, all that stuff is not important. Worry about that angel of death, because that's what is. Are you ready? Are you paid up in your prayers? Do you have enough good deeds, or are you going to be on that bridge of Araf? What are we studying in this class? We're studying about Al Araf. You should be concerned with whether or not you got enough good deeds where you won't be stranded on the bridge of Araf for years and years. This last hour stuff, I'm honest, guys, it's not important, because that stuff ain't happening in your lifetime. But what is going to happen in your lifetime is that angel of death paying you a visit. It's powerful. Is your Aqidah together? Do you believe in the lordship of Allah? Do you believe that the Quran is the creation of Allah? Or do you believe that it's the words of Allah? Most Muslims are wrong in that. Do you believe in Allah's decree the way the companions did? Or are you onto some Sufi stuff? Are you going around saying things are haram that Allah didn't say is haram? Are you blindly following fatwas written by men who are in contradiction to what Allah said? Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself, rather than worrying about some Mahdi and signs of the last hour. Oh yeah, we have to focus on that Aqidah. Do you think that you can change your decree? Do you think that man creates his own deeds? That Allah does not create bad deeds? That Allah is not the creator of evil? You don't think Allah is the creator of evil? See, that's the stuff we got to work on. Forget about this Mahdi, signs of last hour, what's going to happen in Mecca. That stuff ain't important, because that ain't going to get you in paradise or hell. But what is you thinking that Allah is not the creator of man's deed of evil. Mm-hmm. See, that's how Shaitan dupes us. He makes us focus on things that are not of any importance, to take our mind off of what is important, so that death can catch us off guard and we die upon something other than the correct Islam. You want your Aqidah, your belief system, to be correct. And it's got to be what those original companions were upon. Not what Ibn Taymiyyah, not what the four Imams, not what Laila Nasheeba. Your belief system has to match the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those original companions. If it ain't matching them, you lost. Not muftis. It's got to be theirs. You got a lot to learn, bro, rather than worrying about Mahdi. All right, guys. No other questions, comments? All right, we're going to log out for tonight. Inshallah, tomorrow is what? Wednesday? Yeah, so we don't have, tomorrow is Wednesday. So is it Jamali's class tomorrow? I think, check the schedule. Yeah, the brother Muhammad Ziyada had canceled his class today because he got called away to he had to do a conference or something. So that's why I filled in. I did my, I did the Gen class today. My Gen class wasn't today, but I did it today because he had to do something. Yeah. Please make sure you guys support this website. We need your donations. Please support us. Please donate to help pay for our website expenses. We need your donations. Yeah, make sure everybody is here tomorrow. Check the schedule. I'll check to make sure I got the schedule right too. All right, guys, let me log out. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Make sure y'all watch the shorts too. Share the shorts with everybody. I'm getting ready to put some more out. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.